Evacuation efforts now continue at Kabul airport for foreign nationals and others thought to be in danger under Taliban rule. NATO has played down criticism of the pace of the operation, and an official said the process was slow because of the high risk. For more on this, let's now go live to Zamir Abbasan in Kabul. Good to see you this hour. The Taliban have disowned responsibility for the disorder at the airport, saying that the West could have a better plan to evacuate. What can you tell us about this?
Hello there. That is an obvious issue. If the US plus NATO plus all the foreign mission had an accurate plan, why would we be seeing all these issues that are happening as a chaos in Kabul airport and outside, also in foreign embassies and missions in Kabul, and thousands of people are almost lost their path, where to go and how to go, and all those announcements that comes from nowhere, and everybody without any documentation just rush to reach themselves to the airport. The war escalated since 3 months, and then when collapsing the district level started, it was almost reached to 200 districts all around the country. That was a sign. Second sign was 2 weeks when the Taliban started offensive and tackling into the capital cities all around the country. It took almost 2 weeks. What was United States of America and also all the foreign embassies in NATO were doing in regard to the evacuation plan? That's a question, and of course it was a miss that is made regarding to evacuation process, and it was leaded in a chaos, and yet another scenario and path or period of the chaos of evacuees are on the way. We get reports from different places, particularly Doha, that was a viral video showing hundreds of Afghan evacuees staying in a very strange place. And Doha, the Celsius and warmth is from 45 to 50 sometimes at this season of year, and they are now facing another challenge. The kids and women and girls, particularly are those who are suffering still. And we get reports that US planes have dropped a lot of these evacuees to other countries, not the United States. And that's another trauma for all these evacuees who were intending to go to the United States or the European country in search of a safer life.
It's an extremely chaotic scene there at the airport, and former Prime Minister of the country said the talks would soon begin between the Taliban and politicians on the way forward. What have you learned about these talks?
These are the struggles the Taliban leadership have been seeking since they got control on Kabul, and they enter Argor, the presidential palace, and they're trying to work with some entities and authorities like Office of the Mayor of Municipality, Health Ministry, and they are recalling everybody to just join their jobs normally, but no one is willing. I was looking and doing my reports on this show and also getting information. Almost more than 95% of Kabul residents are still not willing to join their offices, particularly to the government authorities and organizations. So this is another era. At the same time, we get report about arrival of Mullah Abdul Ghani, brother, deputy of Taliban, and he will be talking with different parties, including former President Hamid Karzai, Dr. Abdullah, the Chief of High Council for National Reconciliation, and other parties, including Gulbuddin Hekmatyar that you mentioned. And there is another chaos and another era of war started already in northern provinces of Afghanistan, particularly Baghlan. There are reports that at least 3 districts out there are now under the resistant forces, which is led by a son of Ahmad Shah Massoud, Junior Massoud or Ahmad Massoud, and also former Vice President Amrullah Saleh. The situation is getting tense, and Taliban are trying, as we get their statements, they are emphasizing in order to make a deal and finally govern. That's what's seemable, and they have been talking this in conferences and statements and any available political approach. But the situation looks very critical politically, and there is a vacuum of power that would be challenging for everyone, for the Taliban, for the parties, for all those who are not taking along with the Taliban, and most than anybody else, the people of the country.